the Blast from the Past cup from the 60s, 50s, somewhere in there, designed to go right into that era, is Cuphead. Gosh, they paid the price. But of course, we can't have Cuphead without his brother Mugman, both appearing in their own Netflix series, which is most likely getting a second season. Here, both of them are represented in Super Smash Bros. Cuphead, and by extension Mugman, will have a unique ability that, while they're in the air, they can parry any projectile. Just like in their own game, it will work by having the projectile itself disappearing and giving Cuphead or Mugman a slight boost into the air. This will also fill their super meter. Just like in their own game, you have to have 5 cards, and you can use your super. On to the specials. For Cuphead's neutral B, he will have all of his different shots from the original game. He'll have the pea shooter, the spread shooter, the chaser, the roundabout, the lobber, and the charge shot. He will cycle through these using his down special, which will just change the shot. And I'll go ahead and describe the shots if you have never played Cuphead. The pea shooter is just a generic shoot projectile, like any of the guns or anything like that. So those are pretty much normal. The spread shot is a lot shorter range and disappears after maybe like a Cuphead's width away from him, but does a lot more damage. The chaser has pretty long range, but will chase the opponent like a homing missile. The roundabout shoots in front of you and then circles behind you like a boomerang. The lobber is a ball that you'll want to shoot up to do max damage. It's a bouncy ball. And the charge will work similarly to, let's say, Samus or Mii Gunner's charge shot. All of these shots can be performed while moving, but you have to start the shooting beforehand, much like Banjo-Kazooie's neutral B. For Cuphead's side special, he will do the Smoke Bomb, which is from his original game, which has him dash sideways, left or right, depending on which way you're going, leaving a trail of smoke behind him, and he becomes invincible for a few frames. This will do no damage, but will make you invincible for a few frames. However, just like with every move in the game, if you use it too much, it will lose its ability to do damage, but in this one's case, you lose your ability to become invincible. So, do not use this move often in succession, or you basically shouldn't use it at all. And for his up special, it will be the Energy Beam, which is one of his usual super moves, but here I have him aiming it straight down, pushing him upward. Normally, the only super ability you can use is invincibility, even though, that might not always be the thing that most people use in that game. They probably usually use the Energy Beam or the Giant Ghost, but invincibility, just because it's sort of just to help out. You'll have it for 5 seconds, so not for very long, but yeah, good invincibility. And you'll activate this move by having all 5 cards and using Shield B, just like Inkling, or I think that's the only one that does this. If this hits the sweet spot, which is directly at the bottom of the stream in the middle, it will spike the opponents. His jab will be a 3-hit jab consisting of a stomp, a cross with his other hand, and an uppercut. This will send the opponent upward slightly, but since it's a jab, it won't do a whole lot of knockback. Cuphead's forward tilt will be a punch projectile, where he will punch and also shoot the projectile that you have selected. So there will be an initial damage from the punch if, for whatever reason, you don't get hit by the projectile. His down tilt will be Bumper Car, where he will transform into a bumper car and sort of just bump right in front of the opponent and transform back. He won't move forward, he will just bump forward and move back to where he was. His up tilt will be a shoot, just like any other projectile shooting. It will use whatever projectile you have selected, and he will shoot up with it instead of forward. Switching now over to Mugman, seeing that he is the second in this partner deal. His forward smash is Spilled Milk, where he will take off his cup head, no pun intended, and spill milk all over in front of him. This looks like it won't have a lot of range, and it will just hit kind of up, but the milk will fall, so it will hit anywhere from Cuphead's height down. For their up smash, they will think for a moment, and then exclamation point from their straw. This will do a lot of knockback up, but the hitbox is quite small. And for his down smash, it will be a grave smash. He will transform into a grave and smash the opponent right below them. Usually, I would use my little stick man for these little things, where I demonstrate what happens with the opponent, but I felt it was a little too hard to understand what was going on. The opponent will slowly rise up out of the grave as a ghost of themselves and then be launched. So they have a lot of time to react after they get hit. The neutral air for Mugman will have him riding his plane and doing a barrel roll. This will do damage all around him, not just on the tops and bottoms. It will do all around him, just like any other neutral air where they spin. Like all of them. All of them. All of them. The forward air is the Mega Blast, but it is also several other things depending on which of the projectiles you have selected. It could be the Mega Blast, which is basically just the pea shooter, but a lot bigger and a little bit slower. It will shoot directly in front of you, whichever way you are facing, and will do a little bit of damage. It could be the 8-way, which will send 8 of what is essentially the Mega Blast in 8 directions, straight out. If it hits an opponent or hits the ground, it will disappear. If you have the Chaser selected, it will put a force field around Cuphead for 5 seconds. This will only protect him from projectiles though, so any physical attacks will do damage. The Roundabout will send the Jumbo Roundabout, which will work similarly to the 8-way or the Mega Blast, but it will always try to come back to Cuphead or Mugman. So if you keep constantly jumping around, it will constantly be in motion for 20 seconds, or until it hits you, in which case it will disappear, or an opponent also. If you have the Lobber selected, it will be the Kablooey, which is the exact same thing as the Lobber, but bigger. It will always bounce straight up though, whereas with the Lobber, you do have to aim it up for it to be effective. With the charged shot selected, it will do a Radial Barrage, which will just do a small explosion around Cuphead. This one will essentially be just a more powerful version of what will happen if you don't have any super meter charged up. Oh, did I forget to mention that? You do have to have at least one card active while using this move. And when you use it, it will take away one card. This also applies to the up special, which I don't think I mentioned that either. These are the only 2 moves, however, that do use the super meter. The back air is a backwards projectile, which is just another projectile shooting. It will shoot any of the projectiles you have selected. Down air is a homing carrot launch, which will shoot one of those homing carrots from the carrot character, boss, from the original game. It will go down very slow though, so it's not that great. It will home on to the closest opponent though, so if it's more than 2 players, it will go to the closest player. And up air is Bubbling Milk, where Mugman will just stick his straw in his mouth and bubble the milk out of the top of his head. For Mugman's forward throw and for his back throw, he will suck up the opponent into his mouth. And for his forward throw, he will shoot him out into a ball out of his mouth. For his back throw, he will have him sucked up, of course, and he will shoot him backwards out of his straw. For his down throw, he will stomp his foot on the ground, and a vine will release out of his foot and up into the opponent, launching them upward. For his down throw, he will jump on the opponent and parry them, launching them straight up into the air. For his dash attack, he will do the traditional dash from his game, pretty much identical to the smoke bomb animation from his side B, but this one will do damage. For the final smash, wherever Cuphead activated the final smash, two hands will appear and smash to where Cuphead is on the stage. Those hands will then move away, and a dice block will be sitting there rotating around. Cuphead then has to time a jump and parry into that. If he doesn't parry at the right time, then it will not work. But like I said, anytime you're in the air, you can do a parry. So as long as you push jump again while you're over the dice block, it will work. Once Cuphead does the parry, a giant boot will smash the ground and will launch the opponents away. If Cuphead lands on the ground before parrying, then the boot will not smash. Hey guys, so I know I promised an Obi-Wan Kenobi video on my Instagram. Go follow me there if you're not. But I didn't really have time on my schedule for it, so sorry.